Lions TV, we are sponsored by Regal Elevators and Lifts Consultants Limited, a company that is owned and operated by a Millwall fan, just like every single one of the sponsors that you can see on the screen right now. If you are going to do a bit of business in the chaos, the madness that is 2020, then please keep it in the Millwall family and check out all of our sponsors' website links in the description below or on our brand spanking new website, www.lionstv.co.uk. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, press that bell, and also follow us on Instagram. We're on the way to 10k and all that usual palaver that I ask you to do before I fire into a video. And today's video is a very, very happy one in my book. I'm going to cover Tuesday's home win, a brilliant display, a brilliant performance against Blackburn Rovers at the Den, and I'm going to look ahead to Saturday's trip to our West London neighbours, Queen's Park Rangers. But first off, it gives me great pleasure to delve back into Tuesday's action at the Den. What a performance. What an absolute top draw performance. I couldn't fault one part of the performance or one player involved. If I wanted to be extra super critical, all I could say was we just didn't get that second goal again. We can never kill teams off with that second goal, but it made for an exciting, enjoyable defensive display in the second half. I've learned that over the last two games that what really can make a Millwall performance for me is just a really determined, dogged performance in a second half. We've had that two games in a row. Obviously, we took the lead early at Hull. We took the lead early against Blackburn, and just to really be a backs to the wall in a sense performance and just show what we're made of. Bodies on the line, Shane Ferguson losing a boot, Ryan Leonard just throwing himself in front of absolutely everything. You couldn't fault it. What I've also learned from Tuesday's win is this. I sometimes feel that I'm a miserable bastard, or the people on the channel were being miserable bastards. And we've come a long way over the last couple of years as a club under Neil Harris and now under Gary Rowett. And I think that at times, I'm not sure if we can be negative. I'm sure that, you know, we do try and pick the holes in any negatives there can be, but also more than happy to talk about the high points and the good stuff that goes on. And if players play like that every week, but honestly, I was absolutely beaming Tuesday against Blackburn. When I got in bed and I was doing the editing till like sort of 1 in the even after that, I couldn't stop smiling. I was so happy, and I live on my own, so there's no one in bed with me. I just couldn't stop smiling. I was so proud and pleased with the performance, and it was a good performance. But the players that played and played very well, which was all of them, including the subs, we didn't ask them to do anything out of, we wasn't pleased because someone's done a Cruyff turn and stuck one in the top corner from 85 yards. I'm just pleased because they've done things that are easy to do, and that is just give fucking everything you've absolutely got. The team started out one change from the team that beat Hull, and that was Billy Mitchell lost his place to Marlon Romeo. Fairly or unfairly, Marlon Romeo played well, I say with everyone else. I feel that Rowett may have thought the playoffs had gone before the whole game, as I said in my video leading up to the Blackburn game, and I think he showed faith in Billy, and rightly so, because Billy is a first team established player now, established squad member. But I think that he's half shit himself out. I think he's gone, fuck me. Not that Billy did anything wrong, but he's got to try and get Marlon Romeo back into the mix. Or even Marlon Romeo thought, Jesus, fuck me, Billy Mitchell played well. I better get me groin sorted quickly and get back in the team. And that's not a bad thing. Competition for places is a good thing to have, especially at this point in the season when there's lots of games and lots of minutes coming up in quick succession. So Marlon Romeo was the only change in the team. And what we've also been doing in the last couple of games, which I've noticed, which we never do, hardly ever, is we start well. We start strong. We wasn't asking players to do things out of the ordinary. The players did what we've been asking them to do since lockdown, and that was harass, that was press high, that was chase every single ball like it was their last, every tackle, every pass. And we just kept up that intensity, that high tempo of pressing for the whole 90 minutes, really, I thought. Obviously, died off a bit in the second half, but it was to be expected. Blackburn, again, in with a chance of the playoffs, and they didn't really offer a lot, or did we not let them play? That's the question I was asking myself. They didn't perform to the best of their abilities. We know that they're a dangerous team coming forward, but we did what we had to do, and we sort of utilised our best parts about our play, which is our pressing our tackling and our harassing and our intensity, and we just didn't allow Blackburn to play. So we take the lead after 20 minutes. Jeb Wallace goes down the wing, cuts one back to Bradshaw. Bradshaw's shot is a man, speaks volumes of a man that's short of confidence around the penalty area. The rest of his game I thought has been brilliant, again, and I'll go into that in a minute why. It comes off the defender, and Mason Bennett is just there to tap home, yes, and he's scored a similar goal, a little bit more difficult against Swansea from a similar position. What I'll say is this: Mason Bennett's movement must be brilliant because he's managing to get himself into opposition boxes, and there's with plenty of space around him. So he's not been lucky there to pop up. Again, a little bit like Aidan O'Brien used to pop up and score goals. These players, they don't pop up and score goals in loads of space. It's not luck. They're obviously very good at reading the game, and Mason Bennett's movement must be brilliant off the ball. Completely gives the slip to the defence, and he tucks it nicely in the back of the net on 20 minutes for his second home goal in 2 home games. I can't seem to get that one out for some reason. But yeah, he didn't play against Middlesbrough. Obviously, he was injured. But 2 games in 2 at the Den for Mason Bennett. And again, you've got to praise Gary Rowett because the 2 players he's brought in, I'll get onto Woods in a minute, are just sort of a lot higher standard of sort of player that we usually go after. And we used to say, we haven't signed him yet permanently, but we say with Neil Harris, his hands are tied, he hasn't got a lot of money. Harris brought in a lot of good players, don't get me wrong. Sean Hutchinson, Jake Cooper's the name but 2, but he brought in a lot of bad ones as well. So, and we always thought that maybe because we had to take a chance, we didn't have the money. But the 2 players that we've got in there through Gary Rowett, Mason Bennett and Ryan Woods, are just, they're sort of class above anything else we've had at the club. So hopefully they will turn into permanent signings, both of them, in the summer. After that, we don't get that second goal. We never get that second goal. And that's the only slight criticism that I could have. Just the whole team throughout. Like I said, 1 to 11, 1 to 15 on my full-time reaction were absolutely brilliant. Shane Ferguson was like a man possessed. I've never doubted Fergie's technical ability. He can knock a nice cross, yes. He can knock a nice pass, yes. But I just think he's a little bit of a nearly man, a little bit of a 2-yard pass. Won't have the confidence to take people on. Shane Confidence. Let's call him Shane Confidence. Shane Confidence Ferguson was chasing back into our own penalty area. Got brought down by a player after he'd already chased him back 60 yards. He gets up and starts sprinting back up the pitch like a lunatic. He was like a man possessed, Fergie. And if he plays like that every week, again, technical ability has always been there. Just to assert himself like he did, that's all we want. And you can't get away with saying that you haven't. I didn't try enough. You just got to try enough. Give everything you got 100% because it's a very easy hole to pick in a player's performance if they don't try enough. If they haven't technically got this or they haven't technically got that, or ask them to do things that they can't do, fair enough. But to try 100%, give 100%. That's just there. You've got to be able to do that in every game. It's nothing technically good or bad. It's just have the heart and have the bollocks to give everything you got for 90 minutes. And they did it. Ryan Leonard, brilliant. Again, listen, and I don't like to put down Millwall players. Ryan Leonard was still getting a bit of shit in the comments on a lot of our stuff, on even after he scored the goal against Hull. I don't mind if he gives the ball away. As long as people are trying to do the right things on the ball, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't bother me. As long as people are trying to do the right things with the football at their feet, get into the right areas, give everything they got. Try and put the crosses in the right areas. Try and progress and step on into the box. And again, in the first half, we attacked and used patterns of play and got into areas that we haven't been getting into. We have in the last 2 games, but players running beyond players really showing a bit of grit and determination to sort of get beyond the midfielder and get into the box. And we're finding ourselves, I'm seeing our players in positions now that they have not been getting into for a long time, since Nottingham Forest away. And it's really refreshing to see. Really refreshing to see. It's a very, very good time to come good. And it seems like we really have done that. So we don't get the second goal. But again, on that movement, a lot of that I will put down to it. And he gets a lot of shit in the comments. Is Tom Bradshaw. Now, Tom Bradshaw is an all-round, million times better player than Matt Smith, but Matt Smith will score more goals than Tom Bradshaw. But I feel with Bradshaw being on the pitch, listen, he could be stronger on the ball at times, but that's not his game. He's very, very little. If you've ever seen him in person, he's very slight and slim. His game is poaching in and around the box. But what he is doing is working his bollocks off, running the channels. And what he's doing when he's running the channels, he may not always get the ball, but he's pulling defenders with him. And his movement and dragging players out and joining in. If the players can hit his feet from midfield, he can join in and he'll get around the pitch. He'll cover a lot more of the pitch than Matt Smith will. Matt Smith can't really move, let's have it right, but he'll score an header. But I think through not playing Matt Smith, that eliminates that very one-dimensional, predictable part of our game. And it allows Bradshaw, although he's not scoring, yes. I mean, look, he had 2 chances to score. He probably should have done. He should have done better. He should have done better with the one that Mason Bennett scored the follow-up. And in the second half, it's a low shot, which their keeper blocks with his legs. He's desperate for a goal. And if he gets one, I'm sure it'll be like Skittles, like it was earlier in the season, and the rest will follow. But I don't think you can underestimate his work rate, his work off the ball, his running into the channels, and by doing that, dragging players with him and creating space for other players to push on. I don't think it's any coincidence that Leonard's now getting on further, and even Woods was a lot higher up the pitch, by the way, on Tuesday. And the wingers are getting on, and a lot more players are getting involved, a lot more forward thinking, Fergie included as well. I don't think that's any coincidence. I think Bradshaw's making that happen by his movement off the ball, by his running into the channels and dragging defenders with him and creating space. So we're going at half-time 1-0 up. Again, I don't think really any real threat. The only save I remember Bart making, and by the way, it's a brilliant save, because he comes out, he's not had a lot to do in the whole game. He comes out like a goalkeeper. He don't come out throwing his feet at things and throwing his hands in the air. He comes out like he should be, head first, arms down first, and a brilliant and very brave save from the big man, Bart Bulkowski, in goal. So, listen, other than that, we created a couple of chances. We had a couple of shots second half. I remember Jed having a shot. But we haven't got to go on and kill games off. It would be nice, but we didn't manage to do it for whatever reason. But again, Blackburn very rarely threatened us, and I thought it was a very, very good defensive display. The one that cracks me up, by the way, why it's fresh in my mind, is Jake Cooper. I don't know where he's playing. He was brilliant, Cooper. Don't get me wrong, along with the rest of them. He loves to get... He's like playing on the left wing. The position he got in for when he scored against Charlton, he seems to be getting in these areas. It's really good to see him, refreshing to see that Cooper is getting more and more confident. Don't forget under Harris. Look, Harris brought him to the club, no disrespect to Harris, but he wanted Jake Cooper to be an edit, win it, kick it defender. And Jake Cooper's really progressing now with how he can play with the ball at his feet. And he's getting so high up the pitch, and he's so confident in his own ability as well, that, again, I've said this before and I'll say it again, he will play in the Premier League without an absolute doubt. And trying to keep hold of him in the long term, especially after next season, will be very, very difficult in my opinion. Ryan Woods, let's talk about Ryan Woods, because when Ryan Woods comes to the club, I loved him, then I went off him, but now, listen, I've never doubted his football ability. I've always said that. His football ability is brilliant, but he wouldn't step off the back for his toes. He was still deep, and if that's going to be his role in the team, that's fine. I think Ryan Leonard has understood, okay, you're doing that, I'm going to push on, and he was a lot higher up the pitch. Ryan Woods' passing range is absolutely frightening. He's got a passing range, I'm going to say, I know some people may think I'm stupid, he's got a passing range like David Silva. The balls, and this is why, again, Woodsy, and you did do it in look at me, Woodsy, like I know him. Woodsy, you did do it, if you're watching, I doubt it. You do a brilliant job. The spraying the passes he does is great. But he has to get further up the pitch. One, because I can't stand it when he sits on the back for his toes. But two, when he does, the pass he put through for Jed against Charlton, the passes he was putting through the other night, these sort of flat, dinked passes, to get the right weight on them with no angle on them is so difficult. He's knocking passes that people like Kevin De Bruyne and David Silva will knock in the Premier League. So he can unlock doors further up, and that's why he has to get off the back for his toes. And I felt that he did do that. He did push on a lot more in the game, which is what we need, because, as I said, we've got 3 centre-backs there. Pearce isn't going anywhere. And not only do we not want him sitting on the back for his toes, we want him unlocking doors further up the pitch. So listen, I couldn't fault it. The subs that come on, unbelievable. John Daly Bavardson, I'm guilty of it. I went, for fuck's sake, don't bring him on. But I think he half must rate Bavardson, if I'm honest, or rates him amongst what we got, because it was the right move to bring Bavardson on, because, as I said, Smith can't really run, so there was no point bringing him on. Bavardson does. I will give him his due. He manages to buy a foul, then he holds the ball up quite well, and he'll chase it in the corners. And I thought Bavardson was brilliant when he came on. All the other subs, can't remember who came on, but it was all brilliant, honestly. Every single one of them was superb. Oh, Malumbi, loved it when he come on. Again, now look, and I've said it for a while, and I think, Woods and Malumbi doesn't work in midfield. And since that's changed, he's put Leonard in with Woods. Leonard not as good as Malumbi as a player, but it works better. with Leonard and Woods. I think I've been proven right there. Love Malumbi, love Woods, but it wasn't working for me. And since that has changed, yeah, I'm going to take the credit for that one. Since that has changed, I just realised that. That's why I'm all happy with myself. Since that has changed, it's been a lot better. We've been better as a pairing, but it's a shame because I love Malumbi, but he can't play with Woods. He can't start with Woods. No way. It doesn't work. But when he come on, Malumbi in people's faces, he's just up for it. He's up for a little roll round and a tear up and a kick someone, let someone kick in, get in someone's face, get booked. I love all that. It was brilliant. It's exactly what we needed at the time. We nearly did it, didn't we? 97th minute though, 7 minutes again. Don't know where that's come from. A lot of subs were made, obviously, and the drinks break. I think the clock keeps ticking, didn't it, during drinks break? I'm not sure, but regardless, it's by the by. The ball trickles wide. It was one of very few chances that they had, other than the brilliant save from Bart, like I said, the one-on-one save, and we end Blackburn's season effectively. Their playoff dream is over. Preston lost last night to Brentford. They was unlucky. Played all right, Preston. They lost 1-0. Derby lost at Cardiff. So it is now pretty much Swansea drew away at Nottingham Forest. Let's have a look at the league table before we move on to Saturday's game at QPR. So there you go. We're sitting nicely poised in 7th place. We've still got to play QPR away, of course, and Huddersfield at home. And Cardiff have got, in my opinion, a more favourable draw because they've got Middlesbrough away, who are pretty much safe now, I would say, and they've also got Hull at home on the last day of the season. And if you didn't know how Hull got on in the last game, they got beat 8-0 by Wigan and they were 7-0 down at half time. But that's enough of the league table. Let's move on to Saturday's game at Loftus Road. Queen's Park Rangers, managed by Mark Warburton. They are not the team that come to us early in the season and was knocking teams over, scoring lots of goals, top of the table. Nahiki Wells, he's gone now. Got to Bristol City, that didn't work out for him either. But yeah, they are struggling. Since lockdown, they're struggling bad. They have won only one game since lockdown in 7, and that was away at Middlesbrough a few weeks ago. Last time out, they drew 1-1 at bottom of the table, Luton Town, and they've got nothing to play for. They can't go up, they can't go down, they can't go sideways. So it's a little bit of a situation where you go, the players are on the beach already, but that will suit us if that's the case. I don't think it will be the case. It's never an easy place to go. Queen's Park Rangers, off the top of my head, we lost there last year, right at the start of the season, I believe. And the season before, I think we lost there as well. So, never an easy place to go for us. I can't recall the last time we picked up 3 points there, if ever. I think it's usually a point at best. So, in my opinion, this is going to be a very difficult test, the hardest test possibly yet since lockdown, especially away from home. As we know, our away form is brilliant, has always been brilliant. I think we've lost only 2 away games under Gary Rowett. Reading in his first ever away game, and the one at Leeds, which was, an understandable defeat on my birthday on the 28th of January. A very, very difficult place to go. We did lead 2-0 up, I think it wasn't we, before we're losing the game 3-2 against a very, very good Bielsa side who are looking like they're going to go up as champions now. So, since lockdown, 3 away games, 2 wins, no goals conceded, 1 draw, of course, at Barnsley. And, it's going to be... We've proven ourselves away from home before lockdown, post-lockdown. So, if we get something from the game, I won't be surprised. But I just think it's going to be very difficult to get 3 points. It's just an horrible little shitty compact ground, no fans. You've got no fans, and it's going to be difficult to pick up a victory, in my opinion. I hope I'm wrong. And every time lately I keep saying we're not going to win this game, we win this game. So let's stick with that. We're not going to win this game. If I had to go for a starting 11, it's got to be the same, really. You can't argue. You never change a winning side. It's the old cliche in football. I know Rowett did do that, and he changed and brought in Marlon Romeo for Billy Mitchell. But I would stick with the 11 now that beat Blackburn on Tuesday. Carry that momentum forward. 2 clean sheets in a row. 2 wins in a row. Can we make it 3? I'm going to give you a prediction. So this is your pre-match prediction, and here we go. I've already showed my hand, really. What I said, we're not going to win the game, but I am going to go for a 1-1 draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, and I'm going to go for Bradshaw to get the goal. I think he'll play in the game, and I really hope that he starts scoring goals again, because he needs that goal. Everything else about his game for me is there. The hard work he puts in, the link in the midfield with himself and running the channels and creating space, but he just needs that goal. So I'm going for a 1-1 draw with Tom Bradshaw to get our goal. Will it be enough? I don't know. I think Cardiff are going to win both their games, if I'm honest. But listen, it's been a fantastic season regardless. We go into the game with nothing to lose, nothing to fear. and looking strong for next season. So that's your lot for this Thursday club roundup. I hope you've enjoyed it. You might have noticed that the Byron Webster interview hasn't gone out yet. The reason is while the games are going on and the possibility of the playoffs is there, obviously a week today the season league matches will be over. We finish our season next Wednesday at home to Huddersfield. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a couple of Lions lounges in the tank so I can then release them throughout and maybe have a little week or two off at least before we start cracking on again for the new season that starts again in September. But listen, hopefully 3 points on the board on Saturday at QPR. It will set it out massively for the final day against Huddersfield. Enjoy the game. I hope my prediction's wrong. I hope we get 3 points. Please subscribe to Lions TV. Come on, you Lions. Fucking spat everywhere then, I think.